The hooded beggar in the alley. The city of Zarnus Prime was always loud, full of neon lights, flying cars, and strange alien voices. But deep inside the city, away from the lights and rich people, were dark alleys, dangerous alleys, forgotten places. One rainy night, Jace, a young human traveler, walked through one of those alleys. His jacket was soaked, his boots splashed through puddles. He had just arrived on Zarnus Prime that day. He was looking for cheap food and a place to sleep. But then, he heard something. A weak voice. Please. Food. Just a little. Jace stopped and looked around. No one else was there. Then he saw her, sitting on the cold, wet ground, her head down, a brown hood covering her face. Her robe was torn, soaked, and covered in dirt. She looked small, maybe sick. Her hands were thin and shaking. She was clearly an alien, but her face was hidden. People passed by, not even looking at her. One alien even kicked water at her and laughed. Jace frowned. Something about her made him feel strange, sad, angry. He stepped closer. "You okay?" he asked softly. The hooded girl didn't answer. She only held out one shaky hand. Jace knelt down. He took out a protein bar from his bag and gave it to her. Her hand touched his, and it was cold, too cold. She quickly pulled the bar under her hood and began eating like she hadn't eaten in days. Jace sat beside her. "You got a name?" She paused. "No," she whispered. "Where are you from?" "Far." "Very far," she said. Her voice was soft, tired, like someone who had been running for a long time. Jace looked around. "You can't stay out here, it's dangerous." The girl flinched at a loud noise nearby. Her whole body shook. "Okay," Jace said, standing up. "There's an old inn near here. Come with me. It's not great, but it's dry and safe." Yang didn't answer. But slowly she stood up. Her robe dripped water. She walked with a limp. Jace didn't ask why. He could tell she was hurt, inside and out. They walked through the shadows. No one noticed them. At the inn, Jace paid for a small room. The old alien at the desk gave them a dirty look but didn't say anything. Inside the room, Jace gave her a towel and some more food. She sat on the bed but didn't remove her hood. "You don't have to be afraid," Jace said. "I'm not afraid of you," she said. "Then who?" She was silent. Jace sat across from her. "You know, on Earth, we help people who need it, even if they're not human." She slowly turned her head toward him. He couldn't see her face, but he could feel her eyes on him. "No one has helped me before," she said. "Not like this." Suddenly the lights flickered. The room went cold for a second. Jace looked at the ceiling. "Power problem?" The girl's hands glowed faintly blue under the robe. But she hid them quickly. "What was that?" Jace asked, shocked. "Nothing," she said quickly. "Just nothing." He didn't believe her, but he didn't push. "You don't have to tell me your secrets," he said. "Just know you're safe here." She looked down. "I don't know what safe means anymore." A knock came at the door. Jace stood up. "Who is it?" No answer. He opened the door, and no one was there. But he saw something on the ground, a metal dart. His eyes widened. Someone was here. He turned around fast. "We have to go." Your girl was already standing. "They found me." "Who?" "I told you," she said. "I don't have a name, but they gave me one. The last flame." Before Jace could ask anything more, she turned to him, her hood falling back for just a second. In that moment, he saw her glowing eyes. Not normal, not common, ancient and powerful. Then she pulled the hood back on quickly. "Don't trust anyone," she whispered. Jace felt his heart pound. Who was this girl? Why were people hunting her? And what would happen now? The storm outside grew louder, but inside the tiny room, silence ruled. Jace locked the door and pushed a chair under the handle. His heart still beat fast from the strange dart he had found. Outside, the hooded alien girl sat quietly on the bed, her hands hidden in her robe, her glowing eyes now covered again. But something had changed. Before, she looked weak. Now, there was a strange energy around her, like a flame hiding under ice. Jace sat on the edge of a broken chair. He kept staring at her. "I saw your eyes," he said finally. They glowed. She didn't move. "You're not just some random alien beggar, are you?" The girl's voice was calm. "What would you do if I told you I was dangerous?" Jace smirked. "Too late. You already are." A small laugh escaped her lips, soft but real. It was the first time she smiled. But it didn't last long. "I didn't want to involve you," she said. "But you gave me food, warmth. That means you're part of this now." "Part of what?" Jace asked. She raised her head, though her hood still covered her face. "I'm being hunted across the stars. I carry a power they want, but cannot control." Jace leaned forward. "Who are they?" She whispered. "The Kyrex Dominion. They burn planets just to catch one girl." Jace's blood went cold. Everyone in the galaxy had heard of the Kyrex Dominion. Merciless, brutal. If they were after her, he had brought a storm into his own room. Still, he didn't feel afraid of her, just curious and protective. "What do they want from you?" he asked. The girl looked at her hands. A faint blue glow leaked from her fingertips again. She clenched her fists and made it disappear. "I have something inside me," she said. "It's old, ancient. It's called starfire. My mother called it a curse, but to the Kyrex, it's a weapon." Jace blinked. "Starfire?" She nodded. "It's a living energy. It chose me when I was born. Now they want to use it to control entire systems." A flash of lightning lit up the window. Jace stood and pulled the curtain. "So, you're basically carrying a galactic bomb inside you?" "Something like that," she replied. He turned to her. "Then why did you come here?" "To Zarnus Prime? I was hoping to disappear, to be forgotten." Jace shook his head. "You're glowing under a dirty robe. You're not disappearing anywhere." Suddenly, boom, an explosion shook the wall. The girl jumped up. "They're here!" Jace ran to the window and saw 3 black drones scanning the streets. Red lights flickered under their shells. "They found your energy signal," he muttered. "We have to leave." "No," she said, standing tall now. "They won't stop. They'll follow me. As long as I run, they chase." Jace stepped forward. "So what? You fight them?" She looked up, her hood slipping a little. Her face was half seen now, smooth silver skin, faint blue patterns like a royal marking, and eyes that burned like stars. "I don't know how," she admitted. "All I know is if they catch me, millions die." Jace felt a chill. "You don't even have a name. What should I call you?" She thought for a moment, then she said softly, "Call me Alira." Jace smiled. "Nice to meet you, Alira." Sound outside the door. Metal claws scratching. Jace looked around. "Bathroom window?" She nodded. They moved quickly. Alira was fast now, no limp, as if she had been pretending to be weaker than she was. She pushed open the small window, climbed out first, then pulled Jace with her. As they dropped into the alley behind the inn, Jace looked up. Drones were circling. The sky had turned red. Alira grabbed his hand. "We have to leave the city." "To where?" She looked him in the eyes. "To where this all began." The sky above Zarnus Prime had turned blood red from the burning smoke of factories and ship exhaust. The rain had stopped, but tension filled the air. Jace and Alira ran through the narrow lower streets, half flooded, half forgotten. Neon signs flickered weakly, as if even the machines were holding their breath. They thought they were alone, but someone was already watching. From the rooftop above, a tall figure in black armor followed them. His eyes glowed orange under a sleek metal helmet. His name was Drex Marrow, the most feared bounty hunter in 5 systems. He didn't hunt for money. He hunted for power, and the girl below. She was worth more than a warship fleet. He whispered into his communicator. "Target locked. The Starfire girl is with a human. No threat. Proceeding alone." Jace pulled Alira into an abandoned marketplace, Old alien stalls stood empty. Rusted robots twitched as they passed. "We need to hide until the patrols pass," he said, breathing hard. Elira nodded. "I feel something. Someone's near." Suddenly, a deep voice echoed across the empty street. "You always were good at hiding, Elira, but not good enough." Jace spun around. A tall, armored figure stood between two dead vendor stalls. His presence was heavy, like a wall of pressure pressing on their chests. Elira froze. "Drex, you remember me?" Drex smiled under his helmet. "Good. I like when my prey remembers." Jace stepped in front of her. "She's not going with you." Drex laughed. "And you're what? Her bodyguard? You don't even carry a weapon." "I don't need one to protect her." "That's cute," Drex said, raising his arm. A beam cannon hummed to life. "I'll make this quick. Orders were alive, but I've made exceptions." Suddenly, Elira stepped forward. "No," she said. "You want me? Then leave the human out of it." Drex tilted his head. Noble, but foolish. Without warning, she raised her palm, and the air shimmered. A force wave shot from her hand, slamming into Drex like a hammer. He flew backward, crashing into a metal wall. Jace blinked. "What the hell was that?" Elira breathed hard. "Starfire. It listens when I'm scared." From the wreckage, Drex stood up, slowly, painfully. "You're stronger than before," he said, laughing. "Good. That means the price just went higher." He pressed something on his wrist, and suddenly, dozens of red dots appeared on the walls. Snipers, drones, traps. They were surrounded. Jace grabbed Elira's hand. "Run!" They darted into a side tunnel as lasers fired behind them. The walls exploded with sparks. Elira shot another wave of energy, collapsing part of the wall. It gave them just enough time to disappear into the shadows. Deep underground, in a sewer pipe filled with old steam and dripping water, they finally stopped. Jace leaned against the wall. "Who is that guy?" "Drex Marrow," Elira whispered. "The one who killed my parents." Jace looked at her, stunned. "He was the Emperor's dog. When my family refused to weaponize the Starfire, he betrayed us, sold us out. I saw him, when I was 5, cutting down my mother." Jace clenched his fists. "Then we take him down." "No," Elira said. "Not yet. I'm not ready. Not strong enough." "But why is he after you now? After all this time?" She looked at him, eyes glowing again. "Because I'm awakening. The Starfire grows inside me. And when it reaches its peak, it can burn a planet to ashes." Jace was silent. "I never asked for this power," she whispered. "I just wanted to live." "You still can," Jace said. "You're not alone anymore." Back in the ruins of the marketplace, Drex stood watching the hole in the wall. His armor was cracked. His lip was bleeding. He touched a button on his wrist. A new signal was sent, one the galaxy hadn't heard in a decade. A black ship far above. The clouds lit up. "Activate the lockdown net," Drex ordered. "No one leaves Zarnus Prime. The Starfire girl dies, or the city does." The sky of Zarnus Prime turned black. Not night. Not storm. It was a lockdown net. Huge, shimmering panels, dropped from orbit, sealing the entire city. No ship could leave. No signal could escape. Jace and Elira stood in the mouth of an old maintenance tunnel, watching the sky fall like a trap. "They're sealing the city?" Jace asked in disbelief. Elira's voice was quiet. "They've made this my prison, again." Behind them, a low mechanical hum echoed through the pipe. Drones sweeping the tunnels. The hunters were closing in. "We can't stay here," Jace said. "Come on, there's a safe zone under the old metro station." As they ran deeper underground, Elira suddenly stopped. Jace turned. "What's wrong?" She removed her hood, slowly this time, not in panic or fear, but with calm purpose. What Jace saw stunned him. Her skin shimmered with silver and violet patterns. Her long hair was glowing faintly, almost like strands of energy. Her eyes, no longer hiding, were twin orbs of living light, but it was the mark on her forehead that froze him. It was shaped like a burning star, a symbol known across the galaxy, the royal crest of the House of Varelia, long thought destroyed. "You're a princess," Jace whispered. "No," she said softly. "I was born a princess, but they burned my world, killed my people. All I have left is this power, and a name that gets me hunted." Jace stepped closer. "Why hide it? Why now?" Elira looked down. "Because you saw me when I was dirty, weak, starving, and you didn't walk away. You helped me, without knowing who I was." She looked him in the eyes. "I needed to know if I could still trust anyone." Jace nodded. "You can trust me. Always." Elira smiled, just a little, then turned serious. "There's something else." She pulled a small crystal from a pocket inside her robe. It pulsed with the same energy as her eyes. "This is the last memory core of my mother, Queen Selena. It was meant to guide me, but I never dared to open it." She placed the crystal into a round port on the metro wall, an old Varelian design. The wall lit up and a hologram filled the tunnel. It was a tall woman, elegant and powerful, wrapped in golden robes. Her voice was both warm and commanding. "To my daughter Elira, if you are seeing this, then I am gone. You carry the starfire, our greatest gift and our greatest danger. Use it not for war, but for rebirth. The galaxy will fear you, they will try to chain you. But never forget, you are not a weapon. You are hope." The hologram faded. Elira stood still, her eyes wet. With silent tears, Jace didn't speak. He simply reached out and held her hand. She didn't pull away. For the first time, she didn't feel alone. Suddenly, boom! The ground shook. The ceiling cracked above them. A heavy drill machine had broken into the tunnel. Drex dropped in, gun aimed, armor glowing with red light. "You just couldn't stay hidden, could you?" he growled. Elira stepped forward, but this time, no fear in her eyes. She raised her hands. "You want the starfire? Come and take it." Jace whispered. "Wait, don't." But the energy in the tunnel changed. Elira's body began to glow. Not just her hands, but her whole being. Light poured from her skin like fire wrapped in silk. Drex fired. The blast hit her directly. But when the smoke cleared, she stood untouched. The starfire had awakened. The air inside the tunnel was hot. Too hot. Not from fire, but from her. Elira's body glowed like a living star. Her hair floated upward, touched by invisible wind. The ancient power called starfire now pulsed through her veins without restraint. Jace stood behind her, shielding his face from the heat. "Elira, you have to stop." But she didn't hear him. She wasn't Elira anymore. She was energy. Light. Rage. Ahead of them, Drex Marrow retreated slowly. Even the bounty hunter in his reinforced armor seemed unsure now. He had hunted her for years, trapped her, hurt her. But this wasn't a girl anymore. This was a star about to explode. He activated a signal on his wrist. "Initiate orbital strike. She's waking. Burn the whole sector if needed." Then Drex vanished into smoke, leaving only echoes. Elira collapsed suddenly, her glow fading. Jace ran to her side. Her hands trembled. Her breathing was shallow. "I almost lost control," she whispered. "It's getting harder. The starfire is rising." "You didn't lose it," Jace said. "You stopped yourself. That means you can." She shook her head. "Not forever. I need to leave this place, before I burn it down." Sirens howled. In the distance, drones were swarming the city. Drex's voice echoed through loudspeakers. "The fugitive Elira Varelia is in Sector 7. Citizens evacuate. Soldiers engage on site." Jace helped her to her feet. "Then we find a way out. There has to be one ship left." Elira looked at him. "There's one place they never searched. The Spire docks." "Why?" "Because only Varelian royals can open them." The spire docks were a forgotten hangar built into the tallest tower of old Zarnus, covered in vines and rust, hidden by time. Jace and Elira made their way through old lifts and broken stairways. They reached the entrance, a massive steel door with strange symbols. Elira placed her palm on the panel. The metal glowed. The door opened slowly with a deep roar, revealing a massive hangar, and inside it, a ship shaped like a winged crystal. Jace stared. "That's a starship?" Elira nodded. "My mother called it the Flame's Mercy. It was built for escape. One-time use, it listens only to me." They rushed inside. Lights flickered on as they entered. The ship felt warm, alive. Elira sat in the pilot's seat. "We don't have long." Outside, alarms blared. Drex's soldiers were closing in. Jace jumped into the co-pilot seat. "Tell me what to do." She smiled faintly. "Hold tight." The engines roared to life. Fire blazed beneath the ship as it rose from the hangar floor. Doors exploded open. The ship flew straight up. Through the glass dome above, the sky was blocked by the lockdown net. Elira reached into the control panel and pressed her palm onto the ship's core. "Starfire," she whispered. "Clear the sky." The ship responded to her bloodline. The wings glowed with pure energy, and then fired a beam of light straight into the heavens. The lockdown net shattered like glass. Above them, the stars appeared. They were free. But the escape wasn't over. Drex's command ship had locked onto them. 4 fighters flew in from the left. Lasers fired. Jace jerked the controls. "They're gaining on us." Elira's eyes lit up. "We can't outrun them. But I can bend space, only for a few seconds." "Won't that burn you out?" he asked. She nodded. "Maybe. But we don't have a choice." She reached deep into the ship's core, merging her energy with its systems. Her body lit up again, but this time it didn't explode. It flowed, directed, controlled. She looked at Jace and smiled. "Hold your breath." A ring of light formed around the ship. Time twisted. The stars blurred, and in a flash, they were gone. Far away, in the silent black of deep space, the ship reappeared smoking but whole. Jace collapsed back in his seat. "We made it." Elira's glow faded. She was pale, weak, but alive. He turned to her. "You bent space." "I bent a little," she said, barely awake. "There's more. But I need rest and answers." "Where do we go now?" Jace asked. Elira's voice was a whisper. "To a place where my people once ruled, and where they hid the truth." The ship called the Flame's Mercy drifted through silent space. The stars outside glowed like cold fireflies. Inside the cockpit, only the low hum of the ship's core filled the air. Jace sat alone, watching over Elira. She was still unconscious, her body wrapped in glowing cloth the ship had created to heal her. She looked peaceful now. But Jace had seen what she really was, a girl with a dying empire in her blood, and a living star in her soul. Suddenly, the ship beeped. A destination had been reached. "Approaching. Vault of Crowns." Jace looked out the window. The planet below was dark and stormy. No lights, no signs of life. But in its heart, a massive silver dome pulsed with quiet energy. Jace leaned closer to Elira. "We're here. Time to wake up, princess." Elira stirred. Her glowing eyes blinked open. "I felt it," she said weakly. "This place, it remembers me." The ship landed smoothly near the dome. As the door opened, warm wind rushed in. It smelled like metal, ash, and old memories. They stepped out together. The ground beneath them lit up with every step Elira took, as if the planet itself welcomed her back. At the dome's entrance stood 2 stone guardians, statues of ancient Varelian warriors. But when Elira approached, the statues bowed and moved aside. Jace's eyes widened. "They're alive." "No," Elira whispered. "They're waiting." Inside the dome, everything was silent. A giant chamber opened before them, filled with floating crystals, golden murals, and ancient machines still ticking after hundreds of years. At the center, a throne. But not just any throne. It was shaped from starlight metal and had no seat. It floated. Illyra walked toward it. Suddenly a deep voice echoed across the chamber. Illyra Virelia, last of the royal blood, bearer of the starfire, have you come to rule or to destroy? Illyra didn't flinch. I came to finish what my mother started. I came to awaken the last memory of my people. From above, a crystal dropped gently into her hand. As it touched her skin, energy surged through her body. Her eyes turned brighter than ever before. The throne responded, glowing, spinning, rising. Illyra stepped into it, and the chamber exploded with light. Jace shielded his eyes. When the light faded, he saw Illyra floating above the ground, her feet no longer touching the floor. Golden energy danced across her skin. Her robe transformed into a glowing battle dress, marked with the sigils of every lost Virelian house. She wasn't a beggar now. She wasn't hiding. She was the Empress returned. Illyra looked down at Jace. Her voice echoed with power now. I remember everything. The betrayal, the war, the promise. She pointed to a hologram that appeared beside her, an image of the galaxy with systems marked in red. The Kyrex Dominion destroyed my home. But before that, my people hid something. Greater, a vault of starfire seeds. If they get it, the galaxy dies. Jace stepped forward. Then we stop them. Illyra smiled softly. We? You think I came this far to quit now? She floated down and touched his cheek. You came this far because you're human. Because you do the right thing even when it hurts. He grinned. That's what we do. Suddenly alarms rang through the chamber. The sky above the dome cracked open. Drex's dreadnought had found them. Dropships descended fast. Jace drew his stolen blaster. They followed us? Illyra's voice turned cold. Then let them see what I've become. She raised her hand, and the throne chamber began to move. The dome retracted, turning into a launch pad. The floating crystals turned into hovering cannons. The very land around her obeyed. The princess was awake. And her empire was waking too. The world once called Virelia's vault was no longer sleeping. It was awakening. Above the silver plains and crystal spires, the sky turned dark, not with storm, but with warships. The Kyrex dreadnought, a beast of black metal with red lights, pulsing across its body like veins, hung low in orbit. From its underbelly, waves of drop pods and gunships poured downward like a mechanical swarm. At the heart of the awakening world, Illyra, once a beggar hiding in rags, now stood tall on the floating platform above the Vault of Crowns. Her glowing dress shimmered like starlight. Her silver skin pulsed with lines of living energy. Her golden crest, the mark of her royal blood, now burned brightly across her forehead. The entire planet responded to her command. She was no longer running. She was no longer hiding. She was no longer just Illyra. She was the Starfire Empress. And she had come home. Jace stood beside her, gripping his rifle. Compared to her now, he looked like a man beside a goddess, but she still smiled at him like he was her equal. Sure you want to stay? She asked, her voice calm, even as explosions shook the skies above. He smirked. Are you kidding? This is the part in human stories where the good guys make history. Illyra stepped forward, raising her hand. Dozens of old defense platforms rose from the ground around them, ancient Virelian weapons awakening after centuries of silence. Missiles, plasma cannons, pulse shields. They all activated in a perfect circle. She turned to Jace and said, Let the galaxy remember what they tried to bury. The Kyrex drop pods slammed into the ground all across the plains, releasing soldiers in black armor, clones, mercenaries, machines. Their red visors glowed like blood. Leading them was Drex Marrow, armored from head to toe, his face covered with a cold breathing mask. His voice echoed across the comms of his soldiers. Capture the girl, kill the human, burn everything else. Didn't know what was waiting for him. As the first wave charged forward, Elira lifted her arms. The sky itself changed. From her body, rings of pure white light blasted outward, knocking the first wave back without a single touch. The Varelian defenses fired with surgical precision, cutting through machines with blasts of starfire. But it wasn't enough. There were too many. Jace ducked behind a shield wall. "We're getting overrun." Elira didn't panic. Instead, she reached deep inside her memories from her mother, the throne, and the living vault beneath her feet. She whispered a single command in the old tongue. "Unseal the crown mind." From deep under the platform, a giant crystal rose into the air. It pulsed, then exploded in light. Thousands of tiny golden sparks flew into the sky and scattered across the battlefield. Jace stared in shock. The sparks were constructs, ghost-like warriors made of light and memory. They moved like lightning, cutting through Kyrek soldiers with speed and precision. "Those are," he breathed. "My ancestors," Elira said. "Their spirits guard me now." The battle raged on. Jace fought beside a ghost warrior, using cover fire while shielding Elira's back. He had no special powers, but his heart was full. He wasn't fighting for survival anymore. He was fighting for her, and for everything she stood for. Finally, Drex arrived. He landed hard, cracking the platform with his boots. His armor steamed with black fire. He pointed his blade arm at Elira. "This ends now, little girl." Elira floated gently to face him. Her voice was calm. "It ended the day you betrayed my family." He laughed. "I made you what you are. If I hadn't burned your world, you'd still be nothing." "You're wrong," she said. "I would still have been light. But now I know how to burn." Drex fired his arm cannon. But Elira didn't flinch. She caught the blast midair, stopped it, and crushed it with her hand. The air shook with the force. Then she raised her hand again and called the starfire. A storm of golden flame wrapped around her, not destroying, but transforming. Her voice boomed across the sky. "I am Elira Virelia, daughter of stars, last of the crown. I was born in shadow, raised in exile, marked to die. But now I rise, not to rule, but to restore. You hunted me across the stars. Now, hear this. I will never bow. You will break." With a scream, she flew at Drex, blasting him with all the power inside her. The two clashed in the air, light against darkness. Every blow lit up the battlefield. Jace watched from below, stunned. He had never seen anyone fight like her. She was art, fire, and vengeance in one. At last, Drex's armor cracked. Elira grabbed him by the chest plate and stared into his eyes. "You killed my mother," she whispered. "But you will never kill her memory." She sent one final blast through his body, pure starfire, breaking him into nothing but ash. Silence fell. The sky cleared. The Kyrek's army retreated, ships scattering like frightened insects. The galaxy had seen everything. The battle had been broadcast across every system. Every screen, every station, every corner of space. Billions had watched. They saw the girl in rags who became a queen. They saw a human stand beside her without fear. They saw what it meant to fight for what's right. Later, on a floating broadcast platform, Elira stood in front of a glowing camera. No more hood, no more hiding. She stood proud, crowned not by gold, but by light. She looked into the lens and said, "To every system that turned away while my people died, to every empire that traded my life for power, I forgive you, but I will not forget. I am not here to rule over you. I am here to remind you, even in the dirt, royalty rises. Even in silence, the stars remember. And no power, no weapon, no army can crush the light of truth if even one soul dares to see it." She turned, Jace walked up beside her. The camera zoomed in as she took his hand. Billions watched in silence as she looked at him, smiled, and whispered, "Thank you for seeing me when no one else did." They called her a beggar, a runaway, a mistake, but the galaxy would remember her forever. As the Empress without a throne, and the Starfire girl who removed her hood and lit the galaxy.